I can't laugh like Brother Al. Lord, he can't even laugh today with his brown gear on.
You didn't laugh.
Let me step in front of this camera. I feel pretty today. Oh, I feel more prettier. Let me do it again.
You are listening once again to the Art McCoy University of Common Sense. The College of Common Sense phone lines are open at 216-578-1490. You can.
I went back to the dump. This is my second time going back since they closed it late January. I've been going periodically every 30 or so days. So this is my second visit. I got one more. And I'm going to keep going because just because, as Mr. McCoy says, the man says something is closed, just because the man says he's going to close something down and it's over with, it doesn't mean it's over with, number one. And media needs to be there, or people need to be there to document the procedures. People need to be there to make sure the safety hazards, the safety rules are being followed. And the 2 times that I have went just popping up, they're not being followed. They're not spraying down the debris before they pick it up, and the dust is going all into the atmosphere. It's going into the residents' houses. It's going into the streets, the neighborhood. You can see it.
Yeah.
You can see it. It's on video. So I don't know what they're going to do about that. They got the tractors running, the non-road tractors that dump the stuff into the truck. Those are running 15 minutes, just polluting the air, and it's a carcinogen, as I expressed in the video, the first dump site over a year ago. A carcinogen is a cancer-causing agent. So the diesel fuel exhaust that they're using is cancer-causing. So we got also the protest from today.
Let me talk to you for a moment about your second video, The Dump. All right?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
And Mr. Drummond, his drain is clogged. And we got footage of that. It's like, I can't even explain what it looks like, but it's definitely not draining water. I mean, it looks like muddy. It's amazing. It's terrible. And the next door neighbors, he told us to go over there. We went over there, and they have water almost up to the top of the drain, and it rained over a week ago. The street lights, he said it was a car crash. The street lights have went out. They've been out for a month and almost 2 months, and the residents aren't doing anything about it. So we're going to keep pounding on stories until the problems get solved. We have to keep reporting them.
All right, let me talk about the dump.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, let me say this. I don't give a darn about the plain dealer reporting of the dump. The plain dealer can kiss my grits because they were the last. They're supposed to be the first reporter, the first press on the job.
That's right.
And they dropped the ball. Mm-hmm. They dropped the ball all the way from when Miss LeBon, 104-year-old, was came out and told us to come out because she was choking to death. Yes. We tried to get them to come out and do a story then. Brother Struthers, dead and gone, rest his soul. He tried to get him to do a story over a year and a half ago. Right. The residents on the street tried to get him to do a story on the dump 2 years ago. Everybody was crying out for the plain dealer to come out and do an intense story on the dump. They ignored us.
Yeah, they did.
I got in touch with Atasha, one of the reporters, myself. I said, y'all need to come on out and let's do a story. If you don't do nothing, a story on nobody else, do a story at that time of this 103-year-old lady who's choking to death, can't even cook in a stove for the dump. You know what the plain dealer done? Ignored us. Mm-hmm. You know what? I
emailed the plain dealer.
Yeah, so the plain dealer can kiss my grits and prove me wrong when I say they ignored East Cleveland completely and the dump. So when it was all over, and we the residents, not the mayor, not political people, but we the residents, went out and demanded, Melanated Media News went out and they demanded this dump closed. When we finally got the closing of the dump, then the plain dealer come and did a story. Then the plain dealer, prove me wrong, plain dealer. Prove me wrong, plain dealer. Prove me wrong, editors. Prove me wrong. You don't give a darn about East Cleveland or its residents. All you care about is the lackeys that want to take East Cleveland, and that's the only positiveness you'll report about East Cleveland is those lackeys that want to take East Cleveland and give it away back to University Circle of Cleveland. Yes, go ahead.
Say three things. First thing, when I did the first checkup video, you'll see that because I put the video out right before that one of the tarps not being covered. So you'll see when they see me on Mr. Drummond's roof filming them, they automatically start covering the tarps. Second point, or point B of point one. The city officials are supposed to be monitoring. They were there in the first video. There was a City of Cleveland car on site monitoring the dump. When I went this time, there was no car in sight monitoring the dump. The third part is, or the second part, excuse me, is we tend to think, I think this issue with us not checking on the dump, we think that we take the man's ice, as we say, to be colder. If you're familiar with that saying.
Speak, brother.
We think the man's ice is colder, so we take his word as his word. We expect the EPA to do their job when they're the ones who let this go on for over a year and a half.
The EPA can kiss my grits. They didn't do nothing either. They didn't do nothing either about this whole situation. You know why I'm so mad? Because I live 2 streets up from the dump. And my little son Jaden has asthma. And it got worse because of the dump. So, hey, I got a right to be mad. I don't care whether you like me or not. I don't care about that. I'm just telling you like it is. The EPA dropped the ball, and at the final meeting when they said they brought in all these millions to clean up the dump, I told the senator, I told the head of the EPA that they dropped the ball. And you know what they said? They said never before in the state of Ohio have we saw such a horrendous thing where they dump all this garbage, all this debris, all this asbestos, all these chemicals right in the backyard. It never happened before in East Cleveland. Talk, brother.
This Saturday, that passed, Devin Branch had a thing at a church. Mr. Brewer was there. Different residents were there to speaking that live on Noble Road. And people were saying that the police didn't show up when they when they heard gunshots. The police didn't show up for crime. But when we did that march, they showed up. Listen, the feds was there, the police was there, everybody was there.
Listen, you're gonna make me tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God. Listen, as far as I'm concerned, and this is allegedly, so if there's a head to be rolled, it's not the station, it's Art McCoy, because my head has been on the chopping block for a long time. But the police department itself was involved in the dump. And why do I say this? Because when we chose to march on the dump, the chief of police himself, Mary Norton, who had never been to one of my protests before, all of a sudden they was there in the middle of the protest, and they did, Ted, they did everything in the world. They gave us a ticket for the bus. They did everything in the world.
At every street.
Yeah, they stopped us at every street. To stop
us. It took us an hour to walk down Euclid.
It took us an hour to walk down Euclid, and every step of the way they threatened to arrest us. Yes, we have witness to this.
It's on the video. And the cop that grabbed my arm and I said, get off me, and he was trying to arrest me, he got an award this year from the mayor for good police work.
He was a lackey of the chief. Let's keep it real, man. This is a real radio show. He was a lackey of the chief. We got evidence of all this, and the chief of police himself. He even told me at one point, he said, hey, you can't use that bullhorn. I said, in what United States? Didn't he, Brother Porter?
Hey, he came right to me when I hit the bullhorn later on and pulled up and said if I don't stop, he was going to arrest me. And I'm glad that the Creator looked out for me. I just used it on. He couldn't really do anything to at least break off the momentum that way and scare people away. So they just harassed us and made a 20-minute walk into a whole hour, 10 minutes.
The march for Tamir Rice, that whole week, the march for Brelo, that whole week, the march for the 137 shots. I filmed it, I recorded it.
Okay.
none of those marches compare to the march on the dump. As far as the police. And the march on the dump had nothing to do with the police.
Had nothing to do with the, but it did have something to do with the police.
Okay.
That's the story, because in the end, here's what happened. When we saw, when the Norton administration saw that the end and the demise were near, and that there was a possibility of the recall, guess what happened?
What's that?
Lord have mercy. Can I testify today?
Testify today.
Can I keep it real today?
Keep it real.
Or can I make it rain?
Make it rain. Make
All
it
right,
rain.
what happened was they came up with this allegation by the police chief himself of East Cleveland. He said, oh, media, my office was broken into right next to the mayor's office.
That's right.
And they went in there and stole some paperwork. But you know what really happened?
What's that?
Because
What's
we
that?
found out, and I dare the East Cleveland police chief to make me a liar or make me untruth right here on the radio station. That place was not broken in by no burglars. We believe they broke into it themselves and took the information that they needed to take out about the dump. So whoever came into that office, they wouldn't find that information. Look, if I'm lying on 1490 WERE, hold me responsible. Don't hold the station responsible. Hold me responsible, because I tell you right now, everything I say is the truth, and the truth shall set you free.
So the city hall and the police department is in the same building. So if it did get broken into, that's showing even more how incompetent they are. So even if they lied about it, it's a bad lie anyway.
Well, it's not. The lie is. It is a bad lie. You know why it's a bad lie? Because to this day, I challenge the East Cleveland police chief to come up with a second version, or come up with the. He made this report, but he never came back again and said, "Well, we made a mistake. We found out who broke in. It didn't get broke in. We never." I want that second report. On he filed the report.
What was taken out?
Yeah, what was taken? Yeah, we want to know this. Prove us wrong. Don't get me on the dump, because in the end, the dump is not over, because we're going to start a class action lawsuit on behalf of my son, my 8-year-old son, whose asthma has got worse. We're going to start a class action lawsuit on behalf of the Noble Road people whose homes were destroyed by dust and debris and filth. You understand? We're going to start a class action lawsuit. And on top of that,
okay.
Lord have mercy, can I keep it real on the
Keep
Sunday?
it real. Keep it real.
All right, if I can keep it real, listen, the guy, O'Reilly,
Yes.
who started this whole dump, along with some of the conniving people in East Cleveland, allegedly, that brought this on, it ain't over. Somebody got to go to jail. Yeah. You just can't
he
bring
went to the
on
islands or something.
Yeah,
he gone.
Yeah, who?
He gone.
Who?
Mr. Riley, he gone. He got his passport stamped.
No, hey, listen. You can run, but you can't hide. You can run, but I don't know whether you was there or not. But Brother Struthers, God bless his soul. East Cleveland News. He recorded when O'Reilly talked to me like a dog. He was talking to the residents in the neighborhood like a dog.
I didn't see that.
Yes, sir. You didn't see that, but that's how he talked to us. Yeah. So, hey, he got to pay, and those that were involved got to pay. Just because you're cleaning it up, man, you're not cleaning it up till you pay the citizens themselves.
Yeah. So when something goes on, when we see a tragedy or something, we can't take their words for it, because they're a part of the reason why we're in the situation that we're in. Right. So we can't just say they're going to clean it up. We don't need any media there documenting the cleaning up, or the residents need to be involved. You got to see what's going on. True. You got to make sure the proper procedures are being taken place, and they're not. And what is this East Cleveland going to do about that? They didn't do nothing about the tops. I told the mayor, I said, I got video of the tops not being covered. That's a law. By law, they have to be covered. They weren't covered.
Listen. I love everybody, and I love the current East Cleveland mayor. But as far as the dump is concerned, the East Cleveland mayor is just like Brandon King. He's just like a typical politician. When we cried for him to try to get him to come in and do something about the dump when he was a councilman, he did nothing. He said the dump was all right. He said
That's right.
EPA said won't nothing wrong with the dump. The people are paranoid and hallucinating.
Acceptable levels of toxin.
Right, talk to me, brother. But once we were able to come in and get the dump closed, who wants the credit?
Who?
Brandon King.
No.
Brandon King. You understand? Hey, I don't mind him getting a little credit, or stealing a little credit, but tell it like it is. You understand? But he's a typical politician coming, and if I might segue, since the Browns got me on fire, blame this on the Browns. Blame